Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. I'm obviously doing this from my office because it's so dark by the time I get to my car now. I took my hair down for the first time today and it's still wet and kind of gross. Sorry, this is what you get. Today, I'm going to give you some quick tips that you really need to know if you are supplementing with a formula for reflux or spit up. So if you are providing any breast milk to your baby and you're also providing formula that's marketed for spit up. So here are some things you need to know. There's not that many formulas for spit up on the market. And when they're marketed for spit up, or sometimes they're called AR, which does not stand for acid reflux, it stands for added rice. These formulas are thickened formulas. So they're marketed for babies who have regurgitative issues. Regurgitative just means comes up. And how they work is they literally, just by gravity, they thicken the formula so that it's harder for the baby to bring it back up the esophagus. So they're not nutritionally different, like in terms of calories, just the consistency becomes thicker in the stomach. Usually, so in the US, we do this by adding starch to the formula. Just like you add cornstarch to gravy, you could add starch to formula and it will make it thicker. So here are the things that are not often talked about that you really need to keep in mind if you are providing this to a breastfed baby. One of the things that makes breast milk kind of magically cool is that it contains digestive enzymes. So the breast milk itself is digesting itself as it goes in. That's why one of the reasons it's usually easier for babies to digest. The kicker is one of the enzymes it contains digests starch. So if you are mixing breast milk with a thickened formula with starch, the enzymes in the breast milk, just like scissors, chop up the starch, and then the starch can no longer thicken the formula. So breast milk, so if you are supplementing with a for reflux or a for spit up formula, this is the rare exception when I usually counsel parents do not mix the bottles, because as I mentioned, if you mix them, you kind of defeat the whole purpose of the thickened formula because the breast milk will chop up the starch. So a couple ways you can tweak this in your routine. If you are able, so if you are a mom who is able to nurse at the breast, you can nurse and then top off with formula. Now, the formula is still going to mix with the breast milk in the stomach, and so it's going to be less thick than it would be for a baby who is just getting formula. But you got to do what you got to do. Keep up that breast milk. You're doing a great job. So that is going to be better for the formula in terms of the thickness than mixing the breast milk and the formula in a bottle and then providing it together. If you're exclusively pumping or you're providing breast milk and formula both in a bottle, you can prep 2 bottles. That's a huge pain in the A, so do it if you have the time, resources to do it. If you don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. If you do have to mix them in the bottle, I would recommend mixing them as close to feeding as possible. So instead of like making a lot for a couple bottles at a time, make them 1 bottle at a time so that you're mixing the breast milk and the formula together for the briefest amount of time before feeding it to the baby. And again, this is only relevant if you're using a formula that's for spit up, a thickened formula. Those little tweaks will hopefully help your little one actually keep all the volume down. One more exception. So in the US, like Similac for spit up, Enfamil for spit up, and the generics are all thickened with some kind of starch, which breast milk will digest. If your pediatrician is cool with it, it's a very, very big if, and you have to check. HIP AR, which is a European formula, they thicken with guar gum, which is just a different type of thickener, but breast milk does not digest guar gum. So if you are using HIP AR, this whole don't mix, thing that I'm talking about does not apply to you. The breast milk will not digest that gum and the formula will still be able to thicken. So if you're using that, kind of ignore everything else I just said. And if regurgitation is a really big problem for you and the thickened formula is not working, you can discuss if a different formula with guar gum is something that you can consider. Again, it's a European formula, so there's a whole bunch of caveats to go with that. And if you're interested, go over to my website because I have a really long article walking you through what to discuss with your pediatrician when you're considering a European formula. Guar gum is approved by the FDA for use in formula in the US. We just don't have one on the market yet. So hopefully we'll have one come out, and that will be helpful for those of you guys who are dealing with large volume reflux, which can be very messy and just painful for a parent to watch. I really hope that's helpful. Share this video with a mom or a dad that you know who's in a situation where the baby's getting both breast milk and a formula for spit up, a thickened formula. I hope that's really, really helpful. I love doing these quick videos because now I've got to go. Again, share this video with a parent that you would find helpful. Go over to babyformulaexpert.com to get all kinds of other info about formula feeding. And if you're desperate for help right now, you can find this link on my website, or just go to bestbabyformula.com to figure out how you can work with me and see the awesome parent workshop that we have that is guaranteed to take that anxiety out of your life. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much. Bye.